Empty bus. Late night carrying only two passengers. Young girl and boyfriend. Girl keeping travel notes. Noting today's date. 14th of January. And the guy is resting in the chair. Unexpectedly at the next cabin wiggle. The guy falls out notebook. Girl reaching out to lift and pass it on. Young people unwittingly talk to each other and find out that they are not only residents of one town called Pearl but also almost neighbors since they live on the same street. On a nurse in City Hospital. And Freddy is a movie mechanic and comic book author, which he draws in the evenings purely for himself. The guy shows her his drawings and suddenly instantly sketches her pencil portrait. Guy offers to meet some evening. And the girl agrees, laughing at his jokes. However, at this moment a terrible blow is heard. Later on a wake up at home, trying to understand what she was dreaming. Watch show that she's hopelessly late for work, and she herself feels like it. As if I hadn't washed for a week. Anna getting dressed, going to work, but there is not a soul in the clinic. Surprised girl walks around the hallway and not realizing. Where did all the people go? The phone is silent, and outside the window strangely gray haze. Anna pays attention to the included for recording equipment, but what is it recording is not clear. The girl runs out and only now notices that the streets of the city are empty too, and there's not a single person anywhere. The girl is really scared and does not understand what happened. She keeps going around the territory and unexpectedly hears music. Anna finds a home. Where does this sound come from? And finally she meets a living person. That same guy Freddy. But he doesn't represent either. What happened to Pearl and its inhabitants? Not together go to the police station. But they're empty too. Walkie-talkie is dead on the TV screen, only interference. Young people then get in the car to get out of town. But the road is blocked by a black swirling fog, creeping towards the center. The couple is scared and cannot understand what is happening. Suddenly Anna sees an old diner, familiar to both of them from childhood. They go inside and suddenly find themselves in the hall, filled with people. No one sees or hears them. Anna notices at one of the tables an elderly woman and a teenage girl and goes to them, but the couple does not hear or see Anna. However, like the rest, do not react to Freddy. He sees people walking down the street behind the window, pops out to them and tries to draw attention to himself. But everything is useless. But the guy sees the poster with the date of August 23rd. 92nd year. Anna same listening woman and girl conversation, who draws something enthusiastically in her notebook. A woman gives a teenager a box, in which lies the pendant, once owned by her mother. Girl rejoice. Thanks Aunt Luann puts on jewelry. Freddy at this time sees the news on TV, and suddenly remembers. What remembers this day? Anna same ironing a woman's hair. Because it's her aunt. And the girl is herself. Suddenly everything disappears, and the couple again finds themselves in the empty, ghostly hall. Anna tells that I saw my long dead aunt and myself. Then Freddy asks to remember what happened to her after that bus. Woman remembers every minute after waking up, and it turns out that they both felt like it, as if they slept for a very long time, not being able to clean up. The man even grew a beard. Anna suggests that residents of the city possibly evacuated, but then why forgot them? Yes, and all the stuff is spot on. Freddy measures the movement of the black fog and figures out that the wall will cover the whole city in 64 hours. He calculates the furthest from the fog area of the city, and they are going there, choosing products in the store. Freddy suggests that the exit may be underground, well, possibly in the sewers. Anna suddenly offers to think what they died, and the guy agrees. What is this possible? At least though, it's not more fantastic than getting into another universe, because for a second an empty city where no one is, and there are only them and a strange black fog. By the way, the guy still noticed that there are no birds, no insects, no one at all. Except them. And then Anna remembers the recording equipment. They go back to the hospital. Rewinding the recording back, here the conversation between the doctors discussing the state of the patient's brain and that it's time to disconnect him from life support because there is no hope of recovery. In the end though, they agree to wait a couple more days until the 17th of March and give a last chance. And the chance is given to Humana. Woman gets scared and Freddy immediately asks to remember. Where is the intensive care unit here? She's taking him to the ICU, where devices work, fixing the activity of the body, comparing respiratory and pulse rates. Couple verify. What is it, Anna, or rather, her body, which they do not see. Freddy finds ward where devices also identically record the rate of his pulse and breathing. Anna can't believe the reality of what's happened, and after all, she got on the bus in January. But just that explains the beard and the doctor's voices. Means they apparently in a coma and they only have 2 days to get out of it. Freddy is immediately taken to act, although Anna speaks out against. But he leads her through the black fog. It's cold and scary out there, and the girl begs the guy to go back to town. But he stubbornly goes on, and soon a couple finds himself in front of a big closed door. Freddy sure that I have already seen her somewhere before, but can't remember exactly where. The guy takes a step forward and suddenly notices that under your feet a whole scattering of various Freddy keys. Takes the first one, caught, and inserts into keyhole, but the key falls back out and the doors stay closed. Anna asks him to leave again, because she is not well, but he is determined to find the right key. Suddenly a girl notices a thick iron chain, which definitely someone holds on the other end of it. And, as if in confirmation, from the dark comes the roar of a certain beast, and the couple rushes to run. They barely have time to get in the car, but can't have it, because Anna dropped her keys. Freddy throws a flashlight on the pavement, and in his light sees a bunch. He pops out behind her, but at this point the chain is being pulled, choking his leg. Terrible growling is heard closer. And that's when the guy takes his shoes off, leaving her in an iron grip, and grabbing the keys, runs to car. Couple leaving fast, without seeing the inhabitants of blackness. Realizing that in an empty city they can be in danger, Freddy arming himself, props to try to get out of here by water. What do they need a boat for? The guy takes her to the house of his childhood, but suddenly sees that one is lit and looks habitable. They go inside, and again comes the 23rd of August, 92nd year. Couple sees Freddy's stepdad incoming, and at the table he sits himself. And now Freddy from the outside is watching how a man talks softly to a kid, trying to encourage him and remind him that although the mother treats him strictly, she loves him. Mans confesses that persuaded her to soften up and let him go to the carnival, and finally gives him a happy baseball. However, little Freddy is stubborn by its adult version, just now starting to understand what was his stepdad and how good he treated him, and admits that he was always interested only in comics because it was his way of running away from reality. Visions of the past fade away, and the couple find themselves in the dark, young people discussing their childhood hobbies. Turns out they both love telling scary stories. Only guy was drawing, and the girl wrote scary plays, dreaming of becoming a playwright. Unexpectedly, he asks, and why are the doctors discussing turning her off? Because it's illegal. But turns out, after the painful death of her Aunt Lou, she signed the order. Not wanting to be in the same situation, Freddy suggests that while they sleep, some follow their soul. The couple decides to go back to Anna's house to get some rest. Guy looking around housing accurately describes her character and habits, assuring that now she is not alone. And then shows, created by him, comic Behind the Veils, in which he depicted a locked door and 1,000 keys. Everything looks exactly like this, as they saw in the black fog, and the date in the drawing, 23rd August 92nd year. And she remembers that day they had dinner with their aunt. Couple understand that they should repeat that day, who changed their lives. And then it turns out, at the carnival Anna sees herself and her aunt, which leads her to the shooting range, where is Freddy already located, with your friends. Anna enjoys spending time with Aunt Lou, which says that when they get home, they will have fun acting out the story, written by a girl. Freddy same sees how older boys tease him for misses, and then getting incited to go to an actual haunted house. When they leave, young Anna and Freddy look over, showing mutual interest. But friends and aunt take them in different directions. Adult versions are coming back to the future, where they understand that they missed as children, and it was on that day that trouble happened. Anna and aunt staged her play. They even prepared costumes and props. Anna lit the candles, but put them close to the curtain. A fire started, in which Aunt Lou got burns, from which she later died, and now Anna blames herself. Conversation interrupts, familiar already growling. They run away and hide in school, where they are almost caught up by a vicious creature with huge teeth, but most importantly, that the key to the locked door is on his chest. Couple hiding under table, where is the guy shooting the monster from, but misses. And when he leaves, Anna takes Freddy home and shows her play, which is described by exactly such a monster. He's reading the young Anna play and understands that their creation is connected. But in the play the monster is killed by a knight, which is not here. Then Freddy offers to blow up the monster. They go to school and find everything they need. Arrange a trap, putting a homemade bomb in a dummy. Soon, a monster appears and circles around this dummy, and Freddy shoots the bomb, but misses again. And then the gun takes Anna and aptly hits the right place. There is an explosion, but when the smoke clears, couple with horror sees that they didn't kill that thing at all, but on the contrary they released her, interrupting the holding chain. Have to hide in the movie theater. Where does Freddy work? But the monster finds them. Couple manage to hide in church, closing the doors on a powerful bolt. Knows that the darkness will consume them in the next few hours. Young people try to get to know each other better, and understand that they are soulmates. He almost confesses his sympathy to her when Ain suddenly gets bad. She almost passes out and Freddy, laying her on the bench, leaves to single-handedly fight the monster and save the girl. Anna somehow gets to the door and watches in horror as the monster drags him into the dark. And then she goes back to 92nd year, where young Anna plays out her song with Aunt Lou. Where is she night herself? Lou is a monster. At the climax of the play turns out to be. What exactly then? Freddy's friends pointed to Aunt Lou's house, which once had a hospital, which means the ghosts of dead soldiers roam. T's name kid throws stone, witch flips candle. What does the fire start from? Took the life of a woman. And immediately before the adult Anna appears, bloody Freddy and begging for forgiveness because now he knows why ended up here. Guy passes out when a monster appears, attacks Anna, but woman bravely fight him. And when it seems that the monster is about to win, Anna kills it and takes the key. Darkness reaches the very windows, but she drags Freddy to his magic door in the fog. And when the key opens it, she's out of last resort, dragging him over the threshold. In the hospital, Anna comes to her senses and amazes others. Goes to look for Freddy, which as it turned out has already been discharged. She's going to his house, but she is met by a carer who takes care of a guy. She explained that he has partial amnesia and doesn't remember much, except the accident itself, and she talks to him and understands that Freddy doesn't remember her. Carer tells that he had strange dreams, which after sketched, and she opens the album, where he sees everything that happened to them and her portrait. She's showing them Freddy, and he recalls their common experiences, and even a baby meeting. Young people kiss and find each other, happy ending.